Friday night pilled, Friday night maxing, walk maxing in your neighborhood because your suburbs pilled. What is up? Hey guys. Hey, how we doing? The other day I wanted to make a video called we're off to a great start. This'll only get 7 views instead of the usual 9 views that these videos get. But Austin's gonna watch the whole thing, yeah. I was gonna make a video called Spiritual Sickness, but I'm feeling more peppy than when I had that idea before, but I have time alone and I wanna make a long one. Spiritual sickness, I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah, everybody forgot about 9/11, so they killed Charlie Kirk to make sure that we could be to divide us, basically. It's really that simple. I used to be really into conspiracy theories and really into trying to figure out what actually happened and what the lies behind the narratives are, and I've realized at the end of the day that there's evil that happens, and it's from forces that aren't human, that inhabit humans, and it's not, there's no real category to put it in, because I think this is a young quote, the line of good and evil runs down the heart of every man, and there are people who are captured by evil and do evil things. And I think when great evil happens in such a big public way, part of the point is to consume our attention. And I think there's demons that feed off of the attention that is generated from events like this. And it's complicated. If you're a media figure, if you're talking about media, you should talk about what happens. And I get it. And the problem we've kind of run into is everyone's a media figure now. Everyone has a platform to create media for other people to consume. Everyone does. You can get on Facebook and start writing slop today. Everyone's a media head. But it's kind of like this, I feel like it's the folly of we get on social media to try to get connected, and then we forget that we're all divinely connected. We're all humans. We're all made in the image of God. These aren't just like some of these like religious phrases like that, like made in the image of God. You don't have to resist it just because the church you went to sucked. There's a deep truth to this, to the phrase, right? And when we remember that we're all humans and we were all babies at one point. We all shat in diapers that hopefully our mother changed. And not everything that happens everywhere should consume us like that. I mean, I think people are consumed by what happened in the news and neglecting like what's really happening in the people directly around them and the people connected to them most. Really neglecting what's happening in their community or with their family. And honestly, probably the deepest one is like people neglecting their inner world and their inner peace and getting spun out by things that are happening thousands of miles away to people who they don't actually have a tactile, true relationship with. And again, it's complicated. Media figures you do be able to make a relationship, a one-to-many relationship where you don't even know the people you're affecting. What am I trying to say? I have too much of a mission to get swept up in what happened and get swept up in trying to either get to the bottom of it or ascertain blame or fill with rage about who done it or have an opinion on what gun laws need to come into place now that this has happened. And rather I can honor, like grieve the fact that our country is so sick. This is what I want to say. I think instead of jumping to those things, we can just step back and have an honest conversation and say, wow, our country is spiritually really sick. And the fact that we've reached this point where people are so nasty that literal violence of a political person happens. It's just a sickness that comes from within, and the solution is also from within. And I say this all the time. Go talk to the trees. Like, they don't care. Right? They don't care about what happened on the news. They don't. They just care about that thing right there showing up so they can keep growing. They just care about getting some water so they can keep growing. They're on a mission. This guy's mission is up. Just go up. And where I was trying to get to is that I'm just on a mission. Just a man on a mission. On a mission from God to play music for large crowds, to feed, to have a business that works so that my family in the band and my family too, whatever, gets fed and gets paid. And I'm on a mission to be able to go play music for people to lift them out of despondence, to lift people out of panic and fear and bring people, overwhelm them with the feeling of joy and wonder and happiness and love and truth so that they can go into their communities and create a world that is more kind and loving and hopeful. And I think getting consumed by what's going on is to me an indication that you haven't defined your dream for yourself. You're not dreaming big enough. You're not using the juice, the creative juice of life to do something impactful, leave a legacy. I don't know, it's funny even bringing it up out loud. I guess I do want to leave a legacy. I want to be a legend. And it's more important to me to work on my community to make our ship run better, to get this tour ready for the fall, to have the finances together, to be really clear on what the members of our team are supposed to be doing and how I fit into that puzzle so I can maximize my skills to help others maximize their skills. To write music, I don't know. And again, I'm a media person, so like I'm talking about it. Like there's a way to turn darkness into beauty and into light. And I think that next time you want to go down the rabbit hole and get filled with emotion around an event like the Charlie Kirk assassination, I really take a step back and try to think in your bigger picture and your bigger dream. And maybe your bigger dream is actually to prevent that from happening in whatever way that looks like. It's like, okay, well, don't just get swept up in the videos and the Twitter post and seeing how evil people are on X. Like, figure out, where do you want the world to be in a year? Where do you need to be in a year to get you closer to there? The world is where things happen. I just find myself walking around so much, mostly out in nature, but walking just everywhere and so many people to talk to. Things are so interesting. Yeah. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? This is so crazy how this is going to be hidden at the 9-minute mark in a video about nothing. I was teaching a lesson today, and it was really fascinating because my student said that when I got the student about a year ago, he said he didn't ever see himself playing piano for money. But we've done 2-ish lessons a month for 10-ish months, and he's gotten a lot better. And at the lesson, he said he told me things have been tough because he's been looking for work. And I asked him if he thought about playing piano for work. And I could tell he was ready for a shift. And I shared some info with him that actually, while sharing it, I realized how valuable it was. So I'll share it here now. It was a few things. One, he was talking about he goes to the jam and he sees other people play and he hears them play this amazing stuff that he thinks he can't do, and he gets this feeling of desperation, this feeling of wanting to give up because they're able to do something he can't do. And I helped explain to him how somebody plays and how much money they make are almost completely divorced from each other. And there are people who can play all the most amazing stuff and don't make any money, and there are people making money beyond what you could possibly fathom and don't really know too much about music at all, can't really do something amazing with music. And that some of the guys at the jazz jam he's going to who play all this crazy stuff might not be making any money playing music. You know, they might be playing at the Hungry Brain once a month for the door, which is 8 people. So it's not necessarily even about how good you are to get to play music. The next thing I told him was piano is probably the most in-demand instrument. And there are more piano gigs happening every day than people ready to fill those gigs. And it was cool to see because he felt like it was the opposite. He felt like there were so many gigs and that everybody was fighting for him and it was a race to the bottom. And I explained how I'm in a situation where people offer me gigs all the time that I can't do. All the time, I just can't do them. I'm too busy doing sneezy stuff. And that I know several other piano players who get offered more gigs than they can play all the time. And so I told him, he knew some of the names I knew. I said, tell them you're gigging now. Tell them if a solo piano gig comes across that doesn't pay enough for them, that they don't want to do, to send them your way, that you really would want to do the gig. And just told him just to tell the other musicians at the jam, hey, I'm gigging now. Because the thing is, if you want to be a gigging musician in the freelance way, there's kind of a ladder you get on. You show up to where people hang out that are freelancing, you introduce yourself, and just by showing up, you end up on the ladder. Just by showing up and making it known that you want, just by showing up, you end up on the ladder because they at least know your name. At least if they're in a situation where they've called 10 people and none of them can do the gig, you might be number 11. If you show up and also say, hey, I'm eager to play and I'm eager to do this, you might jump down to number 6 or number 7 right away. But just showing up gets you on the ladder. And wow, this video I really feel like I'm off the reservation because of how intense it started earlier, and now I'm giving piano advice. Let's be off the reservation. This is kind of the point, to just let it go where it's gonna go. So basically this guy, I just unloaded all of the advice I've learned about marketing yourself and running a business over doing this for 15 years, and just got me excited that I realized I know a lot more about this than I think I do, and that there's so much more opportunity always available than most people allow themselves to see. And I mean, for example, I keep pointing at the trees. Look at this opportunity to just freely be entertained. Free beauty. And if you're watching YouTube, you're probably watching this for free too. Free entertainment at the low cost of a device in your pocket that knows your every thought and tries to sell you things and manipulates your mind to make you think things are different than they actually are. Woo! And then there's the trees. Trees are free entertainment. But for real, opportunities everywhere, right? There's an opportunity to just take a walk through the neighborhood and film the trees and just be grateful to be alive. Be completely present with where you are. There's opportunity to get paid in a million different ways. The guy who I was talking to, he told me his mom sometimes puts on these parties for her friends, and he's played piano for the parties for free before. So I told him, first of all, he could ask for $50 right there just to get used to getting paid, but also tell his mom to tell all her friends that he is a gigging piano player, that he's doing this. If they have a party, he can come play piano for the party. And if you just start with the people you already know and are shameless about trying to get there, you can get there. The thing is, people don't want to do that. People don't want to wrecking ball into what's going on. There's this view that the status quo is people are like kind of stoic. They're doing their thing. They're in their track. And if you show up and say, hey, I'm creating a new track, you're going to bump them. You're going to piss them off. You're going to get them off the track. But the truth is, if you want to go from not playing piano to playing piano for people, find 100 people that you already know and tell all of them that this is what you're doing. Hey, over the past year, I've put in, I don't even know how, I don't have the script together. Do it your own way. But over the past year, I've been investing in piano study, and I put over 1,000 hours of practice in, and now I'm putting my skills out there. This isn't even a good one. I'm going to try again. Hey, do you or anybody you know happen to have events where they need somebody to come provide piano music entertainment for the event? Done. Send that to 100 people. 100 people you already know, not even strangers, but people you actually know. Your parents, your siblings, your friends, your parents' friends, your siblings' friends, your teachers, your boss at your current job. If you did that, all of a sudden, somebody would say, hey, I need piano for this thing. And you can do it for $50 or $100. You could probably do a lot more, but I think this is kind of how business works, is people start with a price they feel comfortable with, and learning to up your price is actually a skill in itself. But people don't want to go through that discomfort of having to go out there and make waves in the world to achieve the thing you really want. It's easier to just blame the libs or blame the stupid evil MAGA people, right? It's easier to just blame, the border or whatever it is. Blame the racist bigots who don't want the world to be better. Blame the Christians, or blame the Muslims, or blame the Jews, right? You can do that, or you can make waves in the world. You can have hard conversations. You can tell the world what you want and move towards it. And what I want is to look at more trees. It does suck that someone was assassinated. Somebody was shot in front of a crowd of people. Somebody who stood up for free speech and spoke in the name of Jesus. It really sucks that people shared it all over the internet, and people are watching it. People watch it in slow motion and laugh at it. It sucks that people immediately jump to this platform they have. Like people with 300 Facebook friends writing an essay on the whole thing. It's kind of crazy, because it is like a capture of an energy, and it sucks that energy into a void. That fiery emotion that comes from things like this, maybe this is the opportunity to take that emotional energy from it and actually go within, actually meditate and sit with God and get clarity around what your purpose actually is. I've spent a lot of time watching a lot of 2x speed YouTube, trying to figure out the truth of the universe. And sometimes that's fun and valuable. And there's some videos I've watched that have blown my mind, have been amazing works of art. I hope these videos are amazing works of art. But I'm not giving you the secrets of the universe. If you're looking for the secrets of the universe, I really encourage you to actually be more tree-pilled. And wow, look at that. This little garden. Nice job, people. Nice job, people I'm doxing. Be more garden-pilled. And this isn't even the right way to do it. Go somewhere really beautiful. Drive to a destination. Bring your most inspiring friend and walk the place for an hour and spiral upward together. Find people who, when you spend time with them, you spiral upward, and you get to the bottom of things that are in your direct vicinity. Nobody's going to get to the bottom of who killed Charlie Kirk. It's going to be a mess on the internet for months. And people are going to call each other conspiracy theorists, and there's going to be a bunch of things about the story that aren't going to add up. There's going to be weird stuff about the gunman, and weird stuff about an extra gunman, and info about who did Charlie Kirk call out right before it happened and what were they doing. And it's going to go on forever They do this on purpose. They did this with JFK, with MLK, 9/11. It's supposed to spin you out. It's supposed to make you, it's supposed to fill you with all these negative feelings. Then you have the choice to either turn those into evil or take the righteous anger and ask God to show you what you're supposed to do in your life. If you ask God to show you what to do in relation to the situation, you might just like watch more YouTube because you're not asking the right question. What are you supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What's this mom driving supposed to do? I'm supposed to play music and help run a band. Yeah, I'm not even sure exactly what else to say. Marketing is fascinating. There's always a story. I suppose I am taking the story of Charlie Kirk and using it in my own story today, right now, because it's always about a story. The first words of the How to Make It in the New Music Business book by Donald Passman are about how being a musician is just sharing your story. And I remember I didn't understand that 10 years ago. Like, share my story, what does that mean? And I've talked about this before. I just thought I was just some white kid from the suburbs. I don't have any unique story, but I realized that your story is just talking about what you've learned or what you've overcome or how you've changed or where you've been. Being with Sneezy helped me see that getting on Jam Cruise is part of my story. I can tell the story of what happened to me on Jam Cruise, what I learned, how I changed, what was different after. That's the story. That's what's compelling. And I don't know. I think I've always been a teacher at heart. I've had parent teachers, and so one of the ways I've understood how to share my story is through teaching, through telling others what I've learned. And entertainment is part of that too. All right, I think I'm losing steam and I'm trying to hold on to something that is falling apart. But I'm almost back to my street, so maybe I'll keep pushing through for another 3 or 5 minutes. I wonder if anybody will ever watch this. I probably will. I wonder if anyone besides me will. We'll see. What, are you a man on a mission? Charlie Kirk was a man on a mission from God, and I understand that, like, it might be scary to think about. Well, his mission from God killed him. Everyone's gonna die. Nobody's making it out of here. I see old people who can't walk, and I think about what their life is like, and I don't know. What am I trying to say? Leaning into your mission from God might actually bring you closer to situations where you could have your head blown off. And for many, that idea is too much, and seeing what Charlie did pushes them away from their mission. But for me, I don't know, it's different, it's emboldening. All right, I'm gonna go. Bye.